I don't know if that's the case. It's always sketchy when people start dropping dead after they whistleblowed. But also you're talking about Boeing. And so Boeing is a aircraft carrier. No, excuse me. Aircraft producer, right? And they also design a lot of shit for aircraft. So you're talking about engines, you're talking about the entire plane itself, and you're also talking about American transportation.
Yeah.
And you're also talking about like jets. I would assume they contract. I'm sure they have a few military contracts here and there, right?
Of course. All
huge.
Aerospace. Yeah.
Huge military contracts.
Because they have all the engineers for it.
Sure. And it's also it's like Ford.
Right.
The United States does not want Boeing or Ford to fall. And that's a fact. The United States has a vested interest in them staying around.
Right.
And so it makes you kind of think of what the American government would do to keep Boeing afloat, And then you start thinking about the deep state, like the people who are not elected, the people who are appointed to handle a job, like security, like IP,
Right.
Those security and IP are ginormous in the fucking government. And so if you would think that like a military contractor like Boeing started getting compromised and then started having political and public what the public's opinion on that particular business. Like, what if Ford was enslaving children in China, right? The American public would be like, that's pretty unfortunate. Maybe we'll boycott a little or boycott fully. But it's really difficult for America to boycott Boeing. But anyway, that's just my example. So, I would assume the deep state would really have a fucking vested interest to keep that shit down low. Keep that shit I don't know if they would go as far as to kill whistleblowers.
Yeah, it is gnarly to kill whistleblowers. But if they have enough information,
if they got the perfect block of Jenga, at the bottom, and they just pull that shit and it all falls and crumbles, I would assume the American government would have some vested interest to keep the boat afloat, keep the building up, keep the business afloat.
Right.
And so it's not a crazy thought that the United States government will kill whistleblowers. It's not a crazy idea. I
agree.
That's my thought on it.
So from what I understand, what occurred was there was a whistleblower. I think we actually talked about him. We're like, oh yeah, this guy has apparently has a lot of information that he's just gonna pull out of his ass about Boeing. I think I was speculating that it's gonna be aliens or some bullshit. He was gonna say, but he just had some concerns about the safety. Yeah, It was this guy, and they said he died by a suicide from a self-inflicted gunshot.
Can I talk about this? The cause of death of former Boeing quality control manager John Barnett has been terminated. That's a really fucking weird sentence.
Has been determined.
Oh, excuse me. I'm fucking retarded. Excuse me, guys. The 62-year-old Louisiana man died by suicide on March 9th. The Charleston County Coroner's Office said, according to a statement from the Charleston Police Department, obtained by People, which is People Magazine or People.com.
Yeah, it's just it's fucked because, and then you hear another person stepped up and was reiterating what he was saying, and there was just a lot of safety concerns. There was pictures of people dead in the factories and crazy shit like that. Yeah.
Damn. People dead in the factories?
Yeah. I believe they had some shitty work conditions or something.
What country?
Going on?
U.S.
Here, U.S.
Interesting. Okay.
Nuts.
That's
I didn't see the pictures, but I just heard about it.
Right.
And of course, the CEO had to go on trial, and they're talking about how much he makes, and he was making $700,000 a day.
Okay.
And it's what are you using that money for? And the employees were making a fraction of that.
Sure.
Which every corporation does, but just I'm glad that they're asking the question, what are you doing that's so significant that you need to be making that much money? And I think also that there was over the past 10 years, the employees got an 8% increase in pay.
Sure.
And then for him, in the last 6 months, it was a 40% increase in pay.
Damn.
which is nuts.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. 700,000 a day is not bad.
It's fucking crazy.
That's not bad. I could live within my means.
Dude, at that point, you gotta buy like a military weapon or something.
I would buy a plot of land, fat piece of plot of land.
You could buy Kentucky.
I'd build 3 bunkers, and then not live in those 3 bunkers. You know, like
Dude, you could buy Newport, Bellevue, and Dayton. Like
700.
700K a day in 6 months
For 70 years, maybe. For 70 years, maybe you could do it. But like, I don't know, man. We're talking,
for millions and millions.
Talking
You're
about
making billions at that point.
Yeah, you got to make $1 billion.
So if you made $1 billion a year, you don't think you could buy Newport?
Maybe. Look,
maybe.
That's a solid maybe. But sometimes,
slowly start buying out businesses.
Yeah. That's the thing about like individual. I don't even want to go into that. We're not gonna go. We're just gonna stay on Boeing. But it says right here that there's 2 whistleblowers that died, and so that's pretty fucking interesting.
It's crazy.
I can't believe
Do
I
you
said.
still have those shorts? I have like 1 minute and 30 seconds of shorts.
Oh yeah. Of your stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's
absolutely.
like the 22.
Yeah, of course.
I just don't. I want to hear like the exact numbers that he was saying for how much he was making, because it was super ridiculous. Yeah, it's the 3
This
videos.
one?
Yep.
So is this guy?
Yep. 35 mil a year.
What is it that you get paid currently? It's 32.8 million this year. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
What is it you get paid to do exactly?
I get paid to run the Boeing company.
Do you get paid for transparency?
I think the board counts on me for transparency.
Really? Because you're under investigation for falsifying 787 inspection records. The Boeing's under criminal investigation for the Alaska Airlines flight. You were investigated by DOJ for criminal conspiracy to defraud the FAA. This is all in your tenure. It doesn't sound like a lot of transparency to me.
I'm a Boeing whistle.
And then this is just going over what we were talking about.
Sure.
Damn.
This guy.
Oh, that's Louisiana. I was about to say, is that Kentucky?
No, it's LSU. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, like, those are always difficult ones. The court hearings.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court. I'm assuming that's like some, not Supreme Court. I'm sure it's not Supreme, but like, have you seen the ones where they kind of drill on
I saw the TikTok one.
Mark
and
Zuckerberg.
too.
Zuckerberg. Yeah, they drill on Zuckerberg too, and I get it because those guys are trained for those situations to put them on the offense and put them on the back heel.
Right.
And so like $32 million a year is kind of a low ball though.
Yeah, especially for running Boeing.
That's not
it's
much.
crazy.
It's not much actually.
Crazy low.
But like, my issue with those situations is, do they really know
how much he's actually making?
No, not that. That they can definitely figure that out, because they got to find the funds that are. He's got funds.
Right.
You can only hide money so many ways.
Right.
You really, there's no way that Boeing's hiding money to pay their CEO.
Right.
I doubt that.
Sense.
That they
You're
would
right.
fucking tax it. Boeing has a vested interest in being it and having legal money.
Right.
Right. But does the CEO, just because he's the CEO, does he know that there's transparency issues down? Like, it's all about how the business is built, right? If you do bottom down or top up. I mean, obviously I flipped that when I said that, but like, where's the information flow come from? Does the information flow come from the people?
Collective of workers.
Yeah, and then gets delivered to the CEO, or does the
CEO
CEO
calling all the shots? And
Correct.
Stuff and making plans.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
it's like, it's all about the information flow. It's about like, do you really? You gotta prove that CEO knew.
I will say,
you can find Boeing all day long. But like, can you really find the CEO? You got to make sure he knows. Come on, bro.
The only I haven't worked for Procter & Gamble, but they're like the only company. I've worked for like a lot of companies, and they all seem to be top down.
Sure. Yeah.
Procter & Gamble is the only one that kind of gave me the vibes that this guy isn't calling all the shots.
Okay.
But I've never worked there, so I'd never know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nuts. It's like you see how it's like you can kind of tell Pito kind of makes the big decisions about what's going to happen in the school.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. But like all those big decisions are weighed by multiple managers and
Right,
multiple people
right.
who have already evaluated what's the cost of this, what's
Right.
the ramifications of this, what will our student body look like after this decision's been made. And so like half of it, he's really not making big decisions. He's really just weighing the pros and cons of each decision.
Yeah.
And those pros and cons are most of the time made by the people under him. And so
But
it's
it's like not the people under him, if that makes sense. It's like the top. It's like
the
it's like his
C-suite,
little board. You
the
know what I'm
C-suite.
saying?
Yeah.
It's the people that are in the glass office on the top floor of the factory.
yeah. And I mean, like, I don't know, man. I mean, I've been around those kind of groups, and they're just people.
Yeah, they are.
They
Sure.
are just people, and those people, they feel as lost as we do. You know, they might even feel more lost because they feel like the weight's on their shoulders.
Right.
And so when they make a decision, they feel the weight of that decision. And it's like, it's still, you know, I understand why he makes $32 million a year. He's probably throwing around some big decisions, and you hope those big decisions pay off. Right? But I don't know. I think it makes total sense to me why CEOs make a bunch of money. That doesn't seem crazy.
I mean,
you're
making
steering
like 50,000% more than your your underlings is crazy, in my opinion. Like, I'd understand if he made like 2 or 3 million,
right.
but making like 30 million is nuts. Like 2 or 3 million a year is still crazy as fuck, in my opinion.
But you're making as much as a really good doctor would make. You're making as much as like the top programmer in the country makes.
I feel like the top doctor should make 2 or 3 mil as well, and then the director should make like, 5.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but what you're talking about is, have you ever heard the argument of like, I hate pro ball players because they make so much money. Why does a pro ball player make $100 million? They don't deserve to play $100 million. You know, like all that shit.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's the one. I just think that like, just because you're mad about how much money they make, it doesn't mean that you understand the economy.
Right.
Of that situation, the gravity of that, because like Joe Burrow,
Right.
he got $250 or $250
Most
million.
highest paid quarterback, right?
Yeah, and maybe I feel like it was $250 million. But the thing is, and people were like so butthurt about that. How could he make $250 million over 8 years or 7 years? Oh, that's so ridiculous. Blah 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 blah. But you gotta look at the full numbers, the full gravity of it. Each fucking team makes probably like close to $400 million a year. Right? And like, if you're a top-notch team, then you're probably going to want a top-notch quarterback. Right? Because the better quarterback you have, the more money you'll make. And if you're a Super Bowl team 3 out of the 5 years, you're going to be making some billions of dollars. And so like $250 million is easy.
Yeah.
$250 million?
That's crazy.
Out of 5, like if you make $5 billion over a 10-year span because you signed $250 million, that's easy money. Done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes total sense because you need to pay that now, because they're asking for it. Back in the day, yeah, like all the teams will kind of like be like, hey, we should not pay our players that much so we can make more money. And all the teams would have like insider trading almost. What is that called? It's not insider trading. It's
like when you bet against.
No. When they'll fix prices. When like, you remember the gas station analogy where like if all the gas stations in the area got together and raised all their prices unanimously, then everybody would make money. Everybody would make more money. But the thing is, they're fixing the prices against the people.
Oh, I see.
And so I'm assuming that the football teams used to do that. Used to fix the annual salaries against the players so the teams could make more. And I would assume that they all got together one day and was like, we should pay them like not that much. But then like unions came around,
Fair.
So, but I'm shit talking,
The billionaires, millionaires.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not fucking making billions. That's just insane. 35. And then you said Joe Burrow made 250.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's just crazy. The gladiators get paid well.
They do. They should though. They should get paid well. I mean, like, me and you cannot throw a football like that.
I cannot.
We cannot.
Don't have that skill.
But we also can't process information about routes. You know, like, those are from top-notch fucking processors.
Right.
That's basically what they're doing. They're just processing. They're just processing plays
It's
back
nuts.
to back. Not to, I don't, it's crazy how far
Can we
we
skip this video?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
I
You want to go to the
forgot-
next one?
Yeah. Oh, this is her talking about what his legacy was.
Boeing changes and makes things right in their factories, builds the planes that we're used to Boeing flying.
That's all they wanted. Just the safety of the public.
He thought that was at stake.
That he knew that was at stake, and that's what he was concentrating on.
That was the guy who died?
Yep.
They were talking about the guy who died?
Yeah, I really wanted them to show like
It's a
how
shame.
tragic it was in the factories for the workers at Boeing and shit like that.
I'm gonna go on
A
the
Boeing
next.
whistleblower who
We're
had
on this.
raised concerns about the company's production standards has been found dead. 62-year-old John Barnett died on Friday. Authorities in South Carolina say that he died from what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Barnett filed a whistleblower complaint against Boeing in 2017 over issues with the 787 Dreamliner production. His case was up for trial this June. What is his legacy?
Damn, son.
Yeah, it's pretty
Damn, son. That's sad.
I mean, if he's like the safety guy and he was recognizing like problems, and I guess he probably took the right steps to address them, and they're turned down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then he's going for it, going for a whistleblower. I heard that even like you and I can whistleblow like servers at restaurants, like people that you don't even know. Like if you can, if a server gave you, like if they gave you their number
Mm-hmm.
and you knew that they weren't paying taxes on their tips, and you knew they were making like a substantial amount of money. Like let's say they worked at Mabu, which is like a nice restaurant in California.
Mm-hmm.
If you know they're making like over, $8,000, and they're not paying taxes, and you have their name and their number, then you can just literally go online, fill out a form, and not only will they get in trouble, but you'll also get like paid. So you could be like a tax evasion bounty hunter.
That's
insane.
disgusting.
I feel like he would have gotten paid for.
Whistleblowing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I might be crazy for that, but I might be crazy for that. But
I don't. I mean, like, yeah, okay, he gets paid, but I just don't think like. It's always so funny that they label it suicide immediately, just
Yeah.
because that's the coroner's decision. Are we really gonna Epstein him?
I mean,
Are we really gonna fucking Epstein him? Come
I'm
on,
sure
bro.
they did an investigation. You know what I mean? Like, I trust people.
Yeah,